Hi, I've recently got back from a trip to Vietnam, and this is one of my travel advice videos, things which I think would be useful for you to know if you're about to travel to Vietnam anytime soon. Number one, inoculations. Important to know that there are 3 must-have inoculations: typhoid, hepatitis A and tetanus. And then there's a 4th one, which is a grey area, Japanese encephalitis. Now that's carried by mosquitoes, those pesky insects we all hate. And I'm afraid there are a lot of mosquitoes in Vietnam, and especially in the rural areas near rice paddies, and especially during the rainy monsoon season. So I did have the Japanese encephalitis because I was travelling in July, which is the beginning of the monsoon period, and there is a slight risk. However, it's not a very nice injection. It's a 2-parter, and it cost about £80 for 1 injection, £160 for 2, which is about $230 US, and it's up to you to decide. You could just decide that you're going to cover up in insect repellent or cover up your body instead, but that's up to you to decide. Some people I travelled with did not have the injection. Right, second thing to know. More on mosquitoes, because we do hate them, but they do carry horrible diseases. There is no malaria, I'm pleased to report, anywhere in Vietnam anymore, so that's good. But there are mosquitoes, as I've mentioned, and you don't want to have them bite you, because a lot of people are covered in mosquito bites, not so much in the cities, but in the rural areas. Although some people did get bitten in the cities, I didn't. I was fine in Saigon, in Hanoi. It was only out in the rural areas whilst I was cycling around the rice paddies, and then I got them in all sorts of horrible places. So the best thing to do is to really keep on putting the insect repellent. I like this one, which has got picaridin in, which they didn't seem to like at all. I bought this online from Amazon, and then I also like this one because it's a stick. It's one of those roll-on sticks, which is just so easy. If you're out and about, A, it's light, and B, you can just roll it on. It's easy for all ages. So I really do like these roll-on sticks, which I just bought from my local pharmacy. Okay, that's number 2. Now for number 3. Sandflies. I hate them nearly as much as mosquitoes. We stayed by the sea in a place called Mui Ne, which is about 4 hours outside of Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, and there were loads of sandflies, and in many respects they were more irritating than mosquitoes, and they don't care if you're smothered in insect repellent, and they hurt when they bite. Nothing you can do about them, just be aware. Number 4. Food. Now the food in Vietnam is delicious. We ate fabulously the whole time we were there. However, it wasn't without problems. We did get upset stomachs. Now this surprised us because people we'd spoken to before we went who had been to Vietnam said they'd had no problems, they'd eaten whatever they wanted, and we ate in nice restaurants. We weren't eating at street stalls or anything, but even where we were told the salad would be fine, we did get upset stomachs, and some people worse than others. Mine wasn't too bad. Not everyone did. It was about 50% of the people in our large group who got sick. So just be aware. Anything that might have been washed up in tap water, I wouldn't have salad again in Vietnam. I really wouldn't. And only fruits that you can peel yourself. Nothing they might have washed in contaminated water. Right, number 5. Money. Here you go. I've managed to bring a couple of notes back from Vietnam with me. This one is a 5,000 dong note. That's the name of the currency, the dong, and that's worth a couple of cents. It's worth nothing. And this one's 20,000, worth barely more. And it's really hard because everyone in Vietnam is a millionaire or billionaire because everything's got so many zeros. All the notes have so many zeros. It's really hard to work out how much you're spending, and I just couldn't be bothered in the end. But they do accept US dollars, so that's handy for those of us who are challenged when it comes to mathematics, which really is me. Right, number 6, I think. When to travel. There's no right and wrong. It's obviously cheaper and more expensive at different times of the year. I travelled in July, which is cheaper because really it's on the cusp of the monsoon season, which is their low season, and that's why prices come down. It didn't rain actually. I was worried. All I'd worried about was whether it would rain hard every day during the monsoon period. It didn't really rain at all, but what it was very hot, very humid, unbearably humid, and I was just sweating buckets every day. It was literally dripping down. It was quite unflattering and quite unpleasant just to be in. So if I had my time again, I would go at a different time of year from, I would say, probably December through to April, May is the perfect time to go. No risk of Japanese encephalitis then either, because it's not the wet season and there's less mosquitoes around the rice paddies. So I would not travel July, August, September in the rainy season. I would go December to April if I had my time again. Right, last tip coming up. This isn't really a tip, it's just a list of my favourite places in Vietnam. It's a massive, long country and I managed to travel it from top to bottom. I wasn't a major fan of the big cities, although you will need to pass through Saigon, which is also known as Ho Chi Minh, and Hanoi. I did like them, but I want to go back? Probably not. But there are some places I would like to go back to and were so special. One was Mai Chau, which is by the rice paddies in the north. It's a great place for cycling, for hiking, and just a slice of peaceful rural Vietnam. The second place I really fell in love with was Hoi An. It's full of old Chinese architecture. It's by the water and it's full of lanterns which are lit up at night. It was just so beautiful. Great shopping to be had there, a great ambiance, and you could also combine that with a beach stay. We didn't, but some people could stay just outside Hoi An by the beach and just come into Hoi An at certain times of day because it's really, really busy, the streets of Hoi An, but so, so pretty. I'd love to go back. And lastly, the Mekong Delta. Again, a very special rural paradise of waterways and lush trees bursting with fruit. Life is all along the river, and we stayed at a homestay along the river and ate fantastic tropical fruits. It was just heavenly. It was like stepping back in time by about 200 years where there's no technology, no nothing. I loved it. I really hope you've enjoyed my video and found my travel advice useful. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. And I've done separate videos on all the places I visited in Vietnam on my channel, so please do go and take a look. In the meantime, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. The button is just down there. Click on it. You know you want to.